Good day, beloveds. Just want to talk to you about some things that came to me this morning while I was awake, actually. It was about gluttony. And the message was how we're always looking and putting more emphasis and importance on the things that are rare. But things that are rare for a reason. If you look around you, the things that are abundant are because those are the things that you need the most of. And this goes for people, for diet, for a number of things, but I'm going to break this down here. So let's look at plants versus meat. The plants don't run away from you. The plants give you the amino acids that you need to build a protein according to your DNA structure and your body's needs. So when you build the protein from scratch with amino acids that come from plants, your body can do as it needs to with that protein. When you get it from a secondhand source, your body is using protein that has already been used for that animal's benefit. Many times we are always looking for things that we feel are more valuable than the things that we have, instead of looking at the things that you have as being valuable, because those are the things that you need the most of that are present in your life right now, the things that are making themselves abundant. It's those things that you're taking for granted, and that's what throws the balance off. So for example, with the meat and plant, when you eat a lot of meat, then you're missing out on the things your body needs the most of, which is the plants. And that's because you put more value and emphasis on meat than you have plants. Why? Because plants are all around you. You don't really see the need for plants. So it's like that Nina Simone song, Cinnamon, where she runs to the rock for help and asks the rock to hide her. But the rock was like, I can't help you. And she was looking at the rock like, what's the matter with you? You know, why can't you help me? And the rock is looking at her kind of like, well, because I didn't create your problem. You did. You need to go pretty much and find help from somewhere else. And don't quote me on this. You got to listen to the song. It's very moving. And then she goes to the river, and the river was bleeding, and she goes to the sea, and the sea was bleeding. She's looking for help. Then she goes back to the river, and the river was boiling. She goes to the sea was boiling. And finally, she goes to God, which is where she should have been going, the whole time. And by God, I mean, like, she goes to the part of herself, or the higher part of herself that she's confronting. And the higher part of herself said, you need to go to the devil. And when she went to the devil, she found power. What I take from that is, we create these rituals. Rituals create your environment. The way we eat, our habits, right? Those create rituals. Rituals are rites, are passageways, basically. So when you do something over and over again, it creates a passage that allows you to easily get through. And that is like if you go into the woods on a trail, you'll see that now it's easier to get through because a trail has been made. It has not always been a trail, but that's because it has been it has become a passageway because so many people go that route. Or the same person over and over again continues to go that route until it wears down and becomes a passageway that's easily traveled. Those are the same things with habits. You can't expect things to change overnight just by going and praying. That's something that you have to do every day. And I'm not saying praying involves getting down on your knees. And praying and worship are the same thing. They can be done by what you show in your actions. When you show love and support, that's a prayer. When you show negligence, that's a prayer. And so depending on what your actions are, depends on who that prayer goes to. And so when Nina Simone went to God, he's like, why are you coming to me? I didn't create this. Go to the person and confront who created it. When you confront the source, which I'm not saying the source is the devil, I'm just saying that good and bad resides in all of us. And when you confront the part of you that created those habits, that's where you find power. That's where you find the ability to change it. They used to hunt animals in the past. It was not something that was done on a daily basis. Okay, it was rare. And it was a ritual. It was sacred. And a prayer was said before eating animals or even plants. We've gotten out of that now. That used to be a part of our spiritual understanding and knowledge. When you kill an animal, it has to be done a certain way. I can tell you that that is no longer being practiced. When you kill an animal, you're supposed to sneak up behind that animal, and you're supposed to know all of the pressure points of the body and the animal's body, where when you kill it, it's swiftly. Because if you kill the animal while it's in a fear-driven state, it releases hormones that tense up the animal's muscles, and it makes the meat hard, and it also creates a poison in the animal. So when you continue to eat animals over and over and over again, that hormone of fear has pretty much consumed its body. So you're not just eating animal meat, you're also eating fear and anxiety. That's what is causing the breakdown in a lot of our bodies today, is the fear and anxiety. You cannot cook that out of an animal. And as the old saying goes, you are what you eat. And when you eat too much of it, you can actually take on those characteristics and become fear-stricken, which is very acidic to the body. Those type of thoughts can damage your body and make you sick. And this is why a lot of illnesses that we get, we don't understand the source of it, because it's not necessarily from something physical. Sometimes it can be from emotions. And what my holistic practice has helped me to understand is that when you put energy behind a thought, it enters the bloodstream and becomes an emotion. And once an emotion enters the bloodstream, it becomes a hormone. And hormones control everything in our bodies, from our heart rate to our ability to heal, sex drive, appetite, mood, growth, development, sugar levels, blood pressure, vitamin D regulation. Need I say more? They control everything. Anything that happens has to be carried out through a message, and that message is delivered through a hormone. So this is why thoughts become things. This is how thoughts become things. So there has to be balance, in other words. Go for the things that are abundant around you first. Like, the plant life is abundant. You could grow anything, and it's there for you willingly. It's created for you to take it without it being too much effort. And doing the things that sometimes take the less energy on a daily basis allows you to preserve energy. And then you can use that energy for more important things like growth and expanding your mind. Many things that are going to mean more to you later than the physical right now. So yeah, that's what came to me this morning, and hopefully I was able to say it in a way where it made sense and kind of like bring it home. But the point is, don't be so quick to value the things that you don't have. Find the value in what you do have right now. That paves the way for getting the things that are rare. Diamonds are not going to be found everywhere. So when you do get a diamond, yes, you're going to value it. But when you have too many diamonds, it desensitizes you It makes you numb and blind to the simple things in life that if you allowed yourself to feel and be present in, it could bring you the most satisfaction. Take time to appreciate yourself, the God and the devil within, because everybody thinks that, oh, the devil is, bad. Well, the devil is a part of you. It's not some imaginary entity. It is a real entity. God is a real entity, but they're not on the outside, they're on the inside. And if it weren't for the devil, how would God even be defined? If it weren't for God, how would the devil be defined? The reason that our ancestors separated these entities in the first place is because they needed you to see that there are parts of yourself that create bad habits that are not in your best interests. We call that evil because it's a sin to go against yourself and to harm yourself. And the secret is that what you do to another is what you do to yourself. And then there's a part of you that is looking out for your best interests and that wants you to rise in frequency. And, we call that the better half or God. It's just terms that we use to identify parts of ourselves that some of us do and some of us don't really understand. I think divine balance is what we're all trying to achieve on this plane, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. We know that there's a struggle, and many of us don't realize that the struggle is internal, but we know that there's a struggle and that at times we feel confused because we can't see the full picture. Well, balance allows you to see both sides and put those together to get clarity. And when you have, I don't know if you've ever been in any relationship that ended, but when you have clarity and closure, you feel so much better leaving things behind and moving forward. Whereas if you leave something unfinished, you always feel a need to be drawn back to it until you understand what happened and you learn insight and gain knowledge from it so that you can move on in a more peaceful, positive way and not make those same mistakes again. So yeah, perspective. Perspective is what we're all trying to gain here. And possibly why we keep reincarnating and coming back until we get it. And if you ask me, perspective is the third eye. In order to gain perspective, you have to go through life and experiences, which is what this is for. Life is a journey. You don't get there in one night, because if you were to get to where you wanted to be in one day, you wouldn't understand any of it, and it wouldn't even be as valuable to you at the end. You have to gain perspective by going through things. And so that's all I'm trying to say. And hopefully this video isn't too irritating with all the pauses. I appreciate you all, you know that, and have a wonderful day. Peace.